I don't know the song.
Not a very smooth intro there. Vinny G?
Good afternoon and welcome to the Sunday Spin. I'm Vinny G. I am joined as always by my partner in crime, Greno5, Big Money G, Glenn Morrell. How are you this afternoon?
Fantastic, sir. Thanks for asking.
Good to see you. We are brought to you this week and every week by our fine sponsors out there. Starting off, look at the swag that Glenn's got there. What's Left Records in the 719. Taking care of us here every Sunday afternoon. Grooves Records out in San Francisco, our man Kevin Chanel and family. And the two great independent companies, the Anonymous Family, Anonymous Collective in the 719, Anonymous Pacific here in California. Greno, I know you got someone very special for us this afternoon. How about an intro?
Yes, sir. Drum roll, please. The one, the only, the illustrious Jonathan Snyder of the Lollygags, but more importantly, Jonathan Snyder of the Jonathan Snyder Enterprise. How are you today,
That's
sir?
me. Good. Thank you very much. Doing great, Glenn. Great to see you, man. Thank you guys both for having me.
It's an honor to have you here, sir.
Yeah, great.
Looking good. How are things for you this afternoon?
Going pretty well. Just taking it easy for sure. Remembered I got to do this. Went for a nice walk. That's all I got for exercise these days.
Hey.
That's what I do. That's fine with me. I don't like running, and I don't want to go do like a treadmill and a mask. I just want to just go for a walk. It's cool.
Good weather too for you today, right?
It has been. We had some just wind from Hades going through here a little bit earlier, knocking stuff over down here. I don't know what's like in the 719 right now.
So we got some wind as well. Yeah, it's the days are warm, as you know, but it's still that morning crispness of autumn is definitely in tap.
It's here. Autumn is upon us.
Absolutely, man. Well, hey, just thanks for joining us, Jonathan. We were talking before we were on the air just about, we've known each other about, 7 years now, something like that?
7 years now, man. And before I was doing this this really gave me a nice little boost of happiness I needed. As you know, as things been winding down, you do, as a band's kind of ending, you can't help but almost do sometimes a little bit of lamenting or looking back being like, oh man, was it worth it? We've done all this stuff. And then I think about the shit where we met. It was that show at the Triple Nickel, rolled up. It was the first incarnation of the Lollygags, the first three guys, one of which was myself. But we get there to the Triple Nickel, your band, it was Circles and Squares, right?
Yes, sir. Circles
and Squares. Yeah, we get there. I don't know, 5 or 6 people in the crowd, 5 or 6 very lucky people. But I mean, some people would say oh, that's not even worth doing. But here we are. We're good friends. We're talking 7 years later. So I don't know. That's proof. You got to do those. And it's about having fun.
Absolutely. And it's a community, that like we were talking too, the musical community that we're all a part of just continues to grow and grow. Vinny and I go back almost
strong as well with a good foundation.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's cool.
I just wrote I haven't been writing too many songs, but I finished a song recently, and the chorus has a line, never made money, but I made some friends. Kind of looking back at my whole experience. So, which is good because I know people who have pursued it longer than me and never made money and never made any friends either. So, if you can do one of them, you're pretty good.
That's good stuff, man. Definitely. So how'd you get started with music?
Oh,
no, Vinny, man. Sorry.
I was going to ask the exact same question, brother. You read my mind,
Oh, wow.
Start from square one, my man.
You guys are you've been doing this together, known each other so long now. You're thinking they're not
Synchronicity,
high.
baby.
I love it. I love it, man. Well, I started playing guitar for the first time, the acoustic guitar. I was about 14 or so, but I was always like, just a huge music guy. I think all three of us would all know we're among those. When we first heard those like early bands, whatever our parents played us on the radio, it hit us in a certain way more than other.
Yeah.
Something it really touched us and really kind of got us going. I was never much of a sports kid. I didn't even really get into watching sports till I was like, I don't know, 19, 20. Because I wanted to have something to talk about with people. That's all I even talk about. But I was doing that. And then I think other than loving it, something that pushed me is growing up. I remember like growing up, the kids around me were like a bunch of kind of more like really high achieving families and stuff. And I could tell, I don't know, it wasn't for me. I wasn't digging that sort of thing. So I'd fantasize like, no, I'm gonna be a rock and roller. That's how I'm gonna get respect out of this, which I think a lot of people have viewed that. Think about that for a while. It wasn't until about 14 that I started playing guitar. And whenever you ask me, I'll tell you, it wasn't until about 2 years ago I started getting really good, So did that for a while, started writing songs mostly, doing that, only pretty much just playing guitar. Lately been trying to get out of that a little bit more, be a little bit more of a lead guitarist, team player in the band or something like that. But yeah, man, I always went to a ton of concerts and music festivals, always talking about it, always a music encyclopedia among my friends, but among my music friends, we're just on par with each other, I mean, how could you not name the three other guitar players the Rolling Stones had? I thought that was common knowledge, I don't know about you guys, but like, I grew up, I mean, it might have just been the era, but like, my dad's a big rock and roll fan, and he had a bunch of records and everything. And it was just like, I knew about like the Who and all those British invasion bands the same way, like, about stuff you learn in history class. And then like, as you get older, I learned about people. There's some people like, no, I'm not familiar. But what? It's like, it's common knowledge.
But yes, Jonathan, very similar story. With me, it was two older uncles that lived with me. Turning me on to Zeppelin and Aerosmith, the Stones, the Who, so forth, the Beatles even. First band, how long between picking up that instrument till you decided I'm going to put this plan in action and I'm going to start by starting a band?
Oh, I had decided before I even picked up the instrument. It was just a matter of time, It was already made. But I think that was my first band ever. I remember was called King Molotov. We played in high school, and sorry to digress, but I just remember the drummer for that band. We're still in touch. His name's Lance. He lives in Denver. Man, we were gonna go see Guns N' Roses back in July, but that didn't happen, obviously. So just got a little flash of that. Sorry, but yeah, we're still in touch. I tried playing with people when with other groups, when I was a teenager. Part of it was I was a little picky and kind of weird of who I'd play with. The other part was like where I grew up, everyone just wanted to play Dave Matthews. That was my era. That was, and I didn't.
Yeah, I can see where that would be a buzzkill. Yeah.
God, I just like, be like, go over to some kid's house, bring a bass or a little guitar, bring that over, and all they'd want to play are Dave Matthews songs. 45 minutes later, I'm calling my mom after Skinner to come pick me up or something like, it was like that, and I just wasn't into it. Now I kind of wish, not necessarily Dave Matthews, but I wish I'd kind of just played along with some other people a little bit just to get that experience of more of a musician, That was it's always been with me, like, here are my songs, let me impose my will on you. Or, I was when I had that. But my buddy Lance and I, we started a band in high school called King Molotov, kind of an attempted suburban punk rock thing, I suppose. Then, after high school, that era, kind of started more at the open mic, playing my songs and everything. When I could, I'd find somebody to record me here and there. It wasn't quite as ubiquitous as it was now, but I think that it was like early 2000s. That's when people were really starting to grab hold of that like home recording phase, So there were lots of people just doing, still learning it, trying to do it, and just like doing it for fun, everything. So there was that was kind of the thing then. Did that, then put together a band called Missing Dufresnes. Mitch Hedberg reference there. I won't do the bit out of respect for Mitch Hedberg, Look, anyone who knows that road name knows it. If you don't, look it up. It's one of his best ones. But started that, and then not long after that, kind of started the Lollygags with two guys, a dude from high school and a guy he knew. And that was when we met Glenn. And yeah, did that, man, for, geez, our first show as the Lollygags was Christmas Eve at the High Dive in Denver. It was like a party, a bad sweater party thing. And then, yeah, from pretty much then all the way till like early this year, 2020. So, geez, man, that's almost 8 years. It's a while.
So, the first EP, this one.
People I Know. Yes, I know that one.
So, is the original guys on this one?
They are, let's see, one of them is on 2 songs.
Okay.
Brian Zylis. He is on, let's see, which one is, he's on the Kids Being Dumb, I believe that's him. And then Every Kamikaze, two very good tracks. Woo! I know my stuff. Yeah, then the other one, for the rest of that, we used, I used Nate Barnes. You guys remember the band Rose Hill Drive? Were you familiar with them? Out of Boulder. They're actually getting together, still play from time to time. Yeah, Nate, he lives in Nashville now, but they, he was just doing some drummer for hire stuff, and man, he just kind of came in and crushed it. That was really cool. But, man, I don't know if I could I might go into hiding after this confession, but starting to think if I do a new project, I might start messing around these MIDI drums a little bit from home. Sounds kind of fun. Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not?
It's so hard to do, but yeah. Anyhow, that's it. So no, that was me, and then Todd Dybel at Silo Sound, where we did all our recording. He played bass a little bit on that. Had a few other people show up. Sadly, Silo Sound here in Denver. He had to move out of that spot. Wasn't entirely COVID related. The dude wanted, he was going to be moving anyhow. If you say that name, a lot of bands in Denver have recorded around there. I'm sure you guys will have someone on this show also who's been in there. But yeah, to move out of his spot, just kind of thought the landlord wanted him out a little earlier than he anticipated. Doing some stuff from his house now. But yeah, things are changing, dude. It's going to be kind of this landscape we're entering for both recording and performing. It's going to be neat to see what happens with both,
Yeah, we're all making that adjustment right now, and the craziest part about it is there's no blueprint with that, right? There's no blueprint, no time frame. So it begs the question, because you bring up an interesting point. What do you miss the most about playing live?
So I'll admit, like, before this happened, I could see that there were some things that needed to change with this whole pattern, this whole model of band late at night and bar, bring people. It just wasn't happening. People weren't coming out. You can say that. Also, I could see like giant concerts were kind of on the decline. If I don't know if you guys have been in the Mission Ballroom. Probably you hadn't, Vinny, but the Mission Ballroom in Denver. It's this new room they opened, and it's like kind of the arena of the future. It's about, I want to say 3,000 people or so, maybe a little over. And that's kind of, as arenas become less of a thing and things like that, that's kind of more where shows were going. So things were changing already, and I could see there was some need for change, but I don't think that means it all shut down and everything. But what I do miss, man, more so than like my own gigs, I just kind of miss, I'm really starting to realize, just kind of miss going to those concerts and how much I miss kind of collecting bands that you've seen, under your your belt, how many times you've seen it or new ones. I'm really bummed. My uncle and we were going to go see David Crosby in Boulder.
Wow.
Venue there. Yeah. And I mean, who knows what's going to happen next year, but I doubt that tour is going to happen again,
Yeah.
So, have you guys gotten to see any performances during this whole thing? Because there have been little outdoor things,
I saw Colin Estes on Facebook Live.
Oh, man, that's how's Colin doing, man? I haven't seen that guy since we last
live music is not happening here for the foreseeable future, I'm sorry to say. It's hard. Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah, Colin's doing great, man. He just released a record last week.
Excellent. Okay.
New album. Yeah, if you want, you can find him on Bandcamp. Just Colin Estes Bandcamp. But Yeah, man, he's killing it right now. New record and like, we're always working together, doing new projects. Menagerie is kind of on hiatus with the COVID and stuff, but
Yeah.
we're still doing the remote recording, just like with Skinny Mulligans, with Vinny and a bunch of other stuff. But did you know, sadly, that we've lost the Triple Nickel and the Zodiac?
I heard about both of those. That's really sad, man. I wonder what's going to be left when Springs come back, because those were two of the only places.
I know it's pretty much Black Sheep towing the way now, and I mean, they do a specific kind of not specific genre, but they have like a booking company that does most of their shows, and honestly, it's a little bit hard. I've never even played there myself.
I've tried. I've never played there.
I played in this town for 10 years, so I don't know.
That's one thing I kind of don't, and now I'm just like, this has leveled the playing field with no shows anymore. I just don't miss like giving a shit about, oh man, are they going to call me back? How do we get into this venue and stuff? I'm going to name names, and I'm not trying to say it was as simple as a good thing, but there were a few venues I saw.
No, these are the greatest people. I know that.
I know Brian.
I know. That's the antithesis of what you're talking about. Sorry.
Yes, exactly. I got good things to say. So I'll get this. There were some venues I said closed down and are just like, you know what? They never booked me. I'm not really sure how I feel about this. But that's a great, because Brian has been very helpful. He actually booked us when you and I kind of reconnected. It was the day after the 2016 election. And I remember that Menagerie had played. I was in the room getting ready, and I was watching you guys and listening to you guys, and I was digging it. It was good. And then, like, as you're walking off, I'm walking on, you kind of dagged me in this dark, and like, Jonathan, it's Glenn. And like, oh yeah, what do you know? So, God, that was a much needed dose of happiness that night. But
you guys were great. You guys killed it that night. Yeah.
Yeah, he booked us. I remember he got us a show with the Super Suckers, the Triple Nickel once. So, very thankful for that. And there's some good people. I hope. Yeah, man, the Springs, I've always said for a long time, really deserves like a scene. There's places to play, and then there's like a scene, because it's a decent sized city. It's not huge, but not every city needs to be. And it's just something that's always plagued us here in Denver. Vinny, I don't know if Glenn's talking about it, or at least not just Denver, like the Front Range of Colorado. It's not like the West Coast, the Eastern Seaboard. You can't go play in other cities, really. I mean, there are, but it's not like an hour to Fort Collins, an hour to Colorado Springs, some mountain towns, which tend to be more like long cover bands or jam bands or something.
Yeah. Sure.
So you can't really like build in other big cities, 8 hours to Salt Lake, 8 hours to Albuquerque, something like that. So,
but that's where the fraternity that you just spoke about, running into Glenn in the hallway and Glenn getting excited and you getting excited, the brotherhood and the passing it on, so to speak. And that was what intrigued me and endears me to Colorado more than really any other part of the nation that I can think of at the present time. Is there is that brotherhood that I haven't felt in Nashville or California, the other places, Oklahoma, the other places I've played.
No, that's true. They've definitely made a lot of friends, and that's that is important. I think that there's still, despite like more and more people coming here, there still is like some of that niceness. I've heard that too in other cities. It's like in Los Angeles, from what I can tell, there's a lot of bands, but there's not really like a scene. If you talk about the scene in Los Angeles, who do you mean? Look, the Red Hot Chili Peppers? It's like there's a lot of huge bands out of there, and then there's shows going on, but it's not, just like, oh yeah, these bands in our kind of area of town and these blocks sort of thing. I've heard same deal in Nashville a little bit. So.
And San Diego's always been very good when it comes to live music, and especially the indie rock. But again, there's not that sense here, in my opinion, of the bands helping each other out, the unity that I see in Colorado. And it's a beautiful thing.
No, it really is. And like the older I get, the more I do this, I just realize how stupid competition is.
Really?
You're not really competing over anything when it comes down to it. And if
Yeah.
anything, like, you know, if it wasn't for, like, it's helping people out. We hadn't played that show in Colorado Springs for like 5 or 6 people, which I remember the bass player at the time, that was kind of the thing that made him, I think, feel, and the Lollygags made him feel like he wanted to be doing this at all. And I sometimes can't blame him. But like, I hadn't been doing that, you know, we wouldn't have gotten back and gotten to do some cool stuff in the Springs. Glenn, you guys wouldn't have, you know, who knows, we wouldn't have done those shows together in Denver, stuff like that. So yeah, it's important. I think that's more how you're going to make it, and what's really going to make a difference for you than just, you know, kind of hustling, trying to make some club owner happy, you know?
Sure. And I would add to it, there's always going to be people who are going to, you know, say, hey, that's a great guy to work with, just like in any profession. And, you know, you might ask around. And that's important as well, especially for somebody like myself who travels as much as I do, ends up in all these crazy places.
Yeah. I was just thinking, sitting here in San Diego, there's a band I played with, I think still together from San Diego, the Donkeys. Does that ring a bell?
It does not, and definitely that might be something we threw out to our audience because it doesn't ring a bell for me. But
I'm trying to remember that, but like, yeah, there have been some San Diego bands. Who are the, let's see, I remember Stone Temple Pilots were a big one out of San Diego.
Oh, don't go there.
No, what happened with it?
Okay, so Jonathan, Jonathan, so there's this whole, again, I'm joking, but there's this whole, like, San Diego has a very sophisticated counterculture of music that's been going on for a long time. A lot of independent music that didn't get huge, but very influential.
And it has a cult following, I'd add.
Yeah.
And still is. And a lot of those folks have always said that Stone Temple Pilots, no, they're from LA, because a lot of these bands, what they do is they start in San Diego, or they're from there, like they went to high school there, and then they moved to LA, i.e. Iron Butterfly, even the San Diego band. No, they're actually moved to LA too. So that's why I laugh, because I mean, I don't care, like, whether they're from there or not, but it's just like this people get like heated about it from San Diego, and I love it.
That's awesome. One of those controversies. They're really from here, really from there. That's good.
Well, San Diego is always the little brother of Los Angeles, whether it's sports, San Diego Padres, whether it's music. I mean, so, you know, it plays into that, my brother, for sure. And speaking of LA, my favorite LA band, you actually opened for.
Yes, we did, man. Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, and that's probably one of my favorite Lollygag shows, and one of the definitely moments I'll remember from that whole nearly 8-year experience. Yeah, we played with Red Cross at the Larimer Lounge. That's one of my all-time favorite gigs there. That was really cool, getting to meet the McDonald brothers and Jason there, the guitar player, and Dale Crover, the Melvins, chat up him for a little bit. So that was cool, man. Those are like getting to do those things are really, you know, it's a good feeling, good accomplishment. Getting to see them play afterward, that was a great show. You know, that was a great set. They fucking rip.
They always put on a great show. I mean, I don't think I've seen them with this particular lineup, but probably 5 or 6 times over the years. Got a chance to see that band. And I mean, Steve McDonald is the Paul McCartney of punk rock. I mean, this guy is the most versatile bass player. He's incredible.
Everyone, man, on just all sorts of stuff.
That's true. They're all amazing. I just wanted
Tenacious D record. Yeah. Everybody. Yeah, exactly. So all that. So that's pretty cool, man. Yeah, we had a few cool experiences. Some bands got to play with time there. Red Cross, that was a good one. Imperial Teen, are you guys familiar with them?
Yeah.
That was great. You know, there's Roddy from Faith No More, the keyboard player. That's his other band. So that was really cool getting to meet him and everything. And everyone in the band's nice. Their drummer, Lynn, she actually lives in Denver. And they did a little Twist and Shout in store about a year ago. And it was cool. Got to say hey again. And they're about to go on tour for their new album. That's funny because we're here to talk about records. That was one of the I got them to own the record, buy the record, and I got them all to sign it. Own it for a year. I didn't even own a record player until like 2 months ago. So once I got some speakers and hooked that up, that was the first record I put on. Was Imperial Teen's Now We Are Timeless.
Wow.
Since then, I've acquired a few more.
That's amazing. So first of all, come full circle. Steve McDonald produced the first Imperial Teen album. And
Did
second
he?
of all, our designer, graphic designer for the label, Brock Smith,
Huh?
this guy is a huge Imperial Teen fan. So he's going to be salivating. He's actually going to be on a later show.
Oh,
But,
nice.
also, he was at that same show at Twist and Shout, made a poster for the band, a flyer, and they saw it and liked it and signed it for him. I mean, he just fanboyed out. So yeah,
Oh,
shout
wow.
out to Brock, and like, wow, that's
Nice.
great, man. He's
They're
gonna
out there. That was a cool one, man. I remember watching MTV's 120 Minutes. Probably should have been getting ready for school the next day, but I was watching 120 Minutes when they premiered the video for Yoo-Hoo, the single they had off that movie, Jawbreaker. Just watching that, and then whatever, how many, probably almost 20 years later, getting to open for him at the High Dive. And it's, I love those full circle stories. And that's funny because I ran into Lynn at of Imperial Teen at that Red Cross show. I remember seeing her backstage because her friends are in town. So she's saying, hey, yeah, wow, man.
Wasn't she, and I want to go back, wasn't she too the drummer of the Dicks?
She may have been. That
Like,
sounds
I
about
gotta
right.
look
We
that
have to
up
look
right
that
now.
up. All right. Sorry. We're not. But
I
yeah.
gotta look that up. You guys keep going. I swear I know that
She was
name.
in, yes, Lynn Truell of the Dicks. Okay.
See?
Yeah.
And that's like a legendary Texas and San Francisco punk band.
Yeah. That's
Wow. Lynn.
San
You gotta shout
Francisco's
out
her
to Lynn.
scene. So that's so cool, man. Oh my God, she's got her own Wikipedia page. All right, I will have to read that. Yeah, that'd be somebody you might want to try. If I ever come across, might want to try and get on the podcast,
Please, yeah, help us out, my brother.
something like that. But
Yeah, come on with her. Yeah.
yeah, see what's up if we get a hold of them. And it's crazy.
Brock would flip out if it would be.
That's something that's cool now. All these people are pretty accessible, with the internet
absolutely.
and everything, and just like.
And this show, Jonathan, that's what we do. We blow people's minds. I mean, every week we have friends or family or both that hit us up and say, "What? I didn't know this about that." And your friends play with the Bonnie Well Music Machine and da 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 da. And Kevin Chanel last week getting on stage with Clawhammer, touring with Mudhoney.
Oh, nice.
All that in what, 95? I mean, the list goes on, man. We bring in stars just like yourself, baby.
Oh, hell yeah, man. All right. Just keeps getting bigger and bigger every week.
First class all the way, baby. Yeah.
Go find some stars. No, it's crazy. Some people that lived in Denver and even the Springs who just they just kind of quietly moved there,
Yeah.
A few names. What's his name? The bass player for Bauhaus. I'm not kidding you. Spends time at he has a house here in Denver or something. May have blown his cover. Loving Rockets guy too.
David J.
Is that him? Maybe Andy something, right? Or do I just think all
Daniel
British
Asher
guys
is
and
the
bands are named
player.
Andy?
I think it's something. Yeah, but also Neil Haggerty from Royal Trucks, I guess lives in Denver too. So he even made a record called Denver. We'll pull it out.
All right, let's see it, man.
Right, and I guess it's about songs from the life of living in Denver. But yeah, if you guys know Royal Trucks, that's a
Royal Trucks. All right,
that's Neil solo. So it's Neil Haggerty and the Howling Hex.
The Howling Hex. I like that.
Yeah.
So Glenn, how big is that record collection? Because I can't even see all of it.
Oh, that's just a little teaser. There's some up there and over there, and I'd say I don't know, maybe 1,200 vinyl pieces and maybe 1,000 CDs. But the vinyl is split up between. I'm a big 7-inch collector.
Okay, gotta have those for sure.
Love my singles. So.
Gotta get the singles, man. Get that stuff ordered. I think I'm all right. When it comes to how you want to listen to music now with all your options, whether it's online, physical, whatever, sure, all the above. However you discover it, sounds good to you, whatever you like. But I think it's super important that everybody gets some sort of physical media device to listen to music on in some way, even if it's CDs. CDs get a bit of a bad rep, and we can discuss more about that. But I mean, given what's going on, what if there's some sort of national cyber outage or something? No electricity, just no internet, and it's just what are you gonna do? Kill some time, man. I hope you have some DVDs left. some CDs and some records or something. Because yeah, you gotta have that.
The day they killed the Great Machine.
The Great
And that's when the
Machine.
bands will go to work, one and all, right?
Yeah, exactly. Then record stores will come right back, man. Everything. They've been planning this. Sam Goody's gonna pop right back up.
Licorice pizza, baby.
No more of that. But it's just this idea. I'm cool. I'm cool with whatever you're streaming. I think should be paying more, the artist. But however, whatever streaming service you like, that's fine. But just this idea of the only way you have is to lease it. This thing where you can you buy the album, you download the album, you own the service. But then if you don't pay next month, you no longer have that album or something. It's just a little weird to me. It's cool to listen to it, but I gotta own something.
Yeah.
I think you described it perfectly well when you said you're renting the artist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're pretty much renting the music and everything too.
So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we're about halfway through on the Sunday Spin. I'm your man, Greno G. I got Vinny G also in the house with me.
Peace.
And our illustrious guest, Mr. Jonathan Snyder.
Greetings.
From Denver, Colorado.
Woo!
I'm in the Springs, and Vinny's out in the 64 Poway, California.
The left coast.
Yes, that's right. And Sunday Spin, we're kicking it, talking lots of music and fun stuff with our buddy Jonathan. And wow, man, it's just this. You make it so easy for us, man. You're just with the groove all the time.
We're getting together and hanging out, talking. We'd probably be doing this even there wasn't a podcast,
There you are.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Great point.
That's why these are whether it be this one or, from this one to the Joe Rogan Experience or whatever. That's why these podcasts are clicking with people. It's just it's more interesting to hear people have a conversation and just talk about what they really do than have you tried watching a talk show lately? Because now I only see the highlight clips they show. It's just so so tell me about that. Oh really? Hearing people have a conversation that they practice for or something is just seems kind of antiquated.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think a lot of people are still filming from home too. I'm sure these production companies are look how much money we're saving.
We're saving a ton. I saw watch SNL last night. They were back in the studio. It looked like they had everybody in little clusters on the ground, just like they do kind of at concerts now and everything. But you hear Jack White, he ended up filling in for their musical guest last minute. Did you guys watch that? I highly recommend everybody.
Heard about it, yeah.
After you're done watching this, of course. After finish this, watch this, listen to us, and go watch Jack White's performance last night on SNL. That was a really good one.
Cool.
Pretty dope. But now I made it out this little cluster sitting. I made it out to a show at the Larimer Lounge, where we played with Red Cross actually, to check out Dragon Deer. I'm not sure. Are you familiar with Dragon Deer? Glenn, they are kind of one of the bigger Denver bands, good friends with their buddy Cole, been doing some guitar lessons with him. Nice enough to put me on the list that night, me and my girlfriend. Thank you, Cole. But they did a little outdoor thing. It was fun. They had everybody sitting in clusters, and you had to wear your mask to walk to the table and everything. It was a good way to take it in, good night. But that can't be the new, as everyone's saying, the new normal. That can't be a new normal for that. That's got to be a temporary thing.
Yeah, nobody wants that for a normal. You're absolutely right. Yeah, we'll get there. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, it's tough time for all of us. But it's a double-edged sword for the creative people. And yeah, if you can bring one person a little light by going live once a week, why not do it? Mm-hmm. That's the way I feel about it. And music's going to be such a big part of that. Mm-hmm. I'm sure, as you recall, when the pandemic first started on social media, it was all you saw was people picking up a guitar, harmonica, or piano, whatever it was, and for no other reason that I can surmise except to spread a little happiness.
Yeah,
you don't see it anymore. That's my point.
No, it's true, and it's going to be interesting if we can make it through this and we start coming out, gigging and concerts again. I get the feeling there's a lot of people writing songs, and me, I've been practicing my guitar a lot, writing some songs too, but I've been working on my chops. doing that, reliving some youth stuff, learning some old like classic rock riffs and everything. So it's going to be interesting to see like just the burst of art creativity if we come out of this. All the stuff that's ready to be shared with the world.
Yeah, the lid's going to come off. There's no question about it. And there's going to be a thirsty audience, I might add to that. Sure.
It might be, and that could be necessary because, like, as we were just saying earlier, it was kind of dying, big shows. Part of the reasons, like, giant arena shows weren't as much a thing is we're a little more fragmented, You can
very much taken for granted, too, if, that we're always there. That we're there for the entertainment. And then when the rug gets pulled out, it's like, oh my gosh, where have you been?
Mm-hmm. No,
but yeah, it will be a happy time for all of us. I really believe that. But let me ask you, Jonathan, what are you listening to now that's influencing you in your songwriting and your guitar playing for that day?
Yeah, geez, man. I'm always, first off, what I listen to, I'm like always all over the place, If it's good, it's good. I'm trying to get a little bit outside of like my comfort zone of just like guitar, just like strumming guitar, which I'll always love, but big like loud rock and roll stuff, some stuff. As I got this vinyl player, I'm getting some new things. Get some albums. Not that it's new, but dude, I'd never listened to Straight Outta Compton all the way through by NWA. It's so weird. You think because like you just hear it all, you've heard the name so long, the singles, think you have. Then you're like, oh, you know what? I don't think I ever listened through. So I got the vinyl, and it was great. That's what I think it was worth the wait. That was the first time all the way through to hear the vinyl. So getting some stuff, doing some things like that. What are some other things? I'm trying to think here that I've been checking out, kind of keeping me going. That Imperial Teen record. I'd heard it first when it came out, but now I got to listen to that again. Now We Are Timeless. That's got some really catchy rock anthems on there that we should be hearing more of. It's just a shame, all the good stuff, all this indie stuff that we know of, and like local stuff that like if there was more justice in the world, those would be the hits, Yeah. But the industry doesn't work on what's good,
Right. And that unfortunately goes back, in my opinion, the media, especially the instant access for music, has taken away the indie artist's best friend, and that was college radio.
Mm-hmm. I think you're right.
Which has gone up in flames since mass media has taken over. To me, that's not only where I feel it the most, but it's where it makes me the saddest. Because I would always go to college radio to see what was going on. Come in.
Mm-hmm. That's where you go to find out about stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm going to be a couple minutes. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, no, we could still talk tunes, man. I'm pulling up my YouTube music now. I can tell you everything that I've been through. Stuff like what I've been kicking off again. Oh geez, a band I always loved. I think one of my favorite power pop bands out there, if they're technically power pop. Always from Scale VVYN.
That end table. This table usually goes over here.
Yeah. But
and then the dresser stays.
Been listening to them. My girlfriend just got a cat, named him Archie, after their hit song, and that reminded me. So those two albums, I don't know. I think they were working on another one, and then who knows what's going to happen with all of this stuff, with all of this going on. So just looking for that kind of stuff wherever I could find it. I'm more into like rediscovering old bands that I had, like whatever the new band coming out is. Has always sort of been a thing, rediscover like getting into one of those bands who might be broken up who you never really got into, and then you're just like oh, okay, that's it. All right, now that's why I never really picked up a Sunvolt album or something like that. I'm like, all right, now I see what's up.
What are some Denver bands that you admire, like over the years?
I think, of course, like I just said, Dragon Gear is really great. I really hope a lot for them. They're a great band that's got, they got that vibe I like, that like, they got a foot in that hippie kind of jammy door. It's certainly not a jam band, but they could kind of play one of those festivals and have those cool elements to it or something like that, which just kind of, feels good, throws you back to that old kind of 1960s spirit. Another band from Denver I love is Bolognium. They are, if you're a Simpsons fan, you might know where that band name comes from. But that's my buddy Richard. He and another friend of his, Tim, who kind of goes between Telluride and Denver. That's quite the commute. But Tim and Richard, I'd say Weird Al Yankovic is their biggest influence, probably. If that gives you a hint. They have an accordion in the band.
Wow.
Part of the thing which makes them is they're fun, of course, they're great songs, good to see live. Real kind of silly stuff, silly, insightful, really clever stuff. But they make these amazing videos, really cool music videos. They're really entertaining, really funny. I recommend looking up some Bolognium videos as well. They're really good. And something what was really clicking with them about me wasn't just, a total goofy band, which I was starting to take a lot more seriously. I don't know if I was supposed to. But they're making these videos and doing kind of these projects. I think that's going to have a lot to do with, like, getting your band out there. Of course, we want to play live and, people can experience that. But this whole, even before COVID, this whole thing about just, like, telling people to come see your band and hope people see your band, then they're going to come back and see it and become fans. I don't think it really works like that anymore, It's, at least that's, who knows if there's any formula how to grow things or, get more opportunity. But I think it's a more effective way. Have some videos and things like that out there. Content, I hate to sound like some digital marketer, but it's true. I meet all these people at my job who would ask me about my band, and they'd be like, "Oh, and I just can't go. I live out the suburbs, and you guys are playing." I'm like, "Dude, I don't blame you. Tell you what, go to YouTube, hit a video for me. Go to one of the streaming services, listen to a song. It's out there. And if you wouldn't mind streaming it a couple hundred times, I'm saving up for something on the dollar menu at Wendy's." So.
Yeah, it says a lot about the commitment, not only as an artist, but also as a fan or a follower. It's a huge sacrifice. There's no question about it. Yeah. And but nobody sacrifices like the artist does.
Totally.
You see the memes all the time about, what's a musician, the guy who drives 100 miles in his $2,000 car to make $50. And it's really true.
Yeah.
But what they don't say is why we're doing it. Yeah. And if you could maybe kind of talk a little bit about that, because I think everybody does it for the same reason, but it's also very personal. And if you don't mind sharing it, I think we'd very much be interested to hear about it.
I would love to share that, and that could be let's be some good therapy here. So open up, might start crying or something, might open up some memories that I blocked out or something like that. But I've been thinking about that a lot. I'm glad you brought it up. Obviously, you gotta love music. Being a fan, I think that's one thing that drives me. You ain't a fan, you ain't shit. You gotta keep. That's what keeps you going. That's why we're doing this. That's a big reason why we drive so far. We want that experience that we read about our favorite bands do. We want some sort of an adventure, that sort of thing. Something though that I'm trying to overcome. For a long time, I told you when you asked earlier, I kind of, as a kid, had that mentality of like, I'll show them, I'll be a rock and roller, which I think a lot of people do. But I realized. Absolutely. There weren't some of probably the best music ever made wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for that. But for a long time, and something that I think I kind of let drive me and want to moving forward, I don't want to be so much a driving factor, was that kind of thing that I needed a band to succeed for validation, or I just, needed to be viewed that way or something like that. Not doing it primarily because I want to be doing that, which I did. And things like that, but kind of just do it for the fulfillment. You should always want to create art and always want to go to the craft. That's why I've sat down more and I've started taking some guitar lessons and kind of brushing up on my guitar skills, trying to learn some home recording software, picked up the ukulele a little bit. So yeah, for a long time I think that was kind of a bit of a corrupting factor. It's not wrong to say we all want validation in one way or another, and it's not wrong to want that or even expect it sometime. But yeah, just that, I think we have this, I grew up in this crazy, weird celebrity culture here in the U.S. about, what we got to be and stuff like that, when it's like, that's not really what music's about. And I think even the people who we do admire have gotten to be really big it was their devotion to a lot of them. It was their devotion to the craft and them kind of just following what they wanted to do, which drew other people to them. I think, at least a lot of artists I like, and that's really what it should be about. So yeah, I think right now just being a fan is what's kind of driving me to do it, and just want to do, work on that craft.
Sure, and even if it's just self-validation, there's nothing wrong with that either. To have it out there and say, I did this, I can accomplish something, this is what I set out to do. So yeah, I love what I hear, and I'd echo every statement, but Glenn, man, I would love to hear your thoughts on the same question.
Can you rephrase? I got a little bit. I get very lost in answers.
Yeah.
Why do you the same way, man? This is
I'm not really.
We don't need another debate, a presidential debate type thing. No, I know what you mean.
Is there a fly on my head?
How does playing live fulfill you as an artist?
Oh, I mean, it's the whole reason you do all the work to practice. I mean, for me, doing it this long, it's all the time that you take to get people together to come to practice, to learn songs, and be committed. And so every live performance should be some kind of, at least, where you're not touring and it's not like a job, so to speak. It should be a celebration. It's like going out and playing softball with my buddies on Friday night, and I hit a double and high-fiving it, and feels good, because the same thing as not missing the beat on, whatever song or, so, and then, just making people feel happy. You can generally sense when someone's moved by what you do or what your band does, and that just always feels great. It's never the reason why I do it, but it's one of the things that you get. It's just a byproduct of performance. And I don't really miss playing live because I don't even get to practice. I'd like to just sit in a room with my bandmates, 20 something songs in, that haven't been performed now this year.
And you brought up something, Glenn, that is music to my ears, and I fully expected I was going to get this at some point in your answer, but it was, you did bring up that you love putting bands together. And I think it's one of your biggest gifts as a musician / entertainer is you're always able to pull together the right talent and have it work together for the formula that you're trying to get across, be it, by yourself or with a band. And I know Jonathan has similar stories. I kind of like to compare the two of you as Colorado artists. How you go apart finding the right people for a band? Because I think it's a crucial question.
Cut to the chase here, and Glenn, you and I got to get jamming sometime, man.
Yes, sir.
I don't know what your guys, what it's like if you're getting together with people, anybody in person. I'm cool too. I'm not getting together with large groups of anybody and taking some precautions, but yeah, I'm cool to get together with people or three of us ever want to need somebody to help you with your what mulligans? What was the first word? What mulligans?
Mulligans.
Skinny
mulligans, yes, skinny mulligan stuff. I think we should get that going because right here. But that's just what you were talking about, Vinny. It's just like getting your friends together to find a good band. I might not. We had some great players. I've made some great friends. Lollygag, some great contacts. I might not be the best guy because we've had my band was a rotating cast of characters, sort of. And
that sounds familiar, Glenn.
Yeah, that's kind of a skill in itself to be able to keep bringing people in. But it was also kind of one of the things that tired me on it after a while. But that might just be the standard for bands now. There are so many bands. It used to be, 20 years ago or so, if there was a bigger band touring with 2 original members or something, it'd be like, oh yeah, whatever. Now there are a lot of bands like that, and it's just I don't know. It's kind of that's that era that the band is like an idea. You know, people come and go, and sometimes they're core members, sometimes there's just one member. You know.
And the logistics are harder than they've ever been.
Absolutely.
I mean, let's face it, right? The
Yeah.
logistics, restrictions,
Oh, yeah.
all impound the frustration of an artist.
There
And-
are, I mean, there's some practice spaces I see here in town that are, you know, they put their things on. But yeah, I guess it's making us, if you're going to be jamming now, you're doing it for totally the right reason. You know, you got to be doing it because you want to, because it's not, you probably don't have any shows coming up. I don't know what, you know, whatever your rock and roll dreams may be. I think the industry was already in a free fall. Now it's just, yeah.
Yeah, you have to be a pretty optimistic guy in this line of work, don't you? More than
Yeah,
ever.
exactly.
Yeah.
Especially now. I don't know. Yeah, good luck with that. So yeah, if you're getting together, if you're writing songs now, if you're practicing your instrument, if you're forming a band or just getting together to play, yeah, you're doing it for all the right reasons. You know, you're doing it because
Great
you're a
point.
fan and you want to play. You want something to do. I can think of a lot less productive things to do.
Okay. And it's a great answer, and I applaud every word of it. But what advice would you give to somebody who was looking to start a band and quote unquote make it in the business, or to have a successful career as a recording artist, live entertainer? If you could give them 30 seconds of your advice, what would it be?
First off, have a job, a real job too. But
We all
you know,
do,
that
yeah.
goes into a bigger picture, though. I think you should have many, as just a person, you'd have other interests than just playing music. You know, it shouldn't be just like that. I don't think you'd really be that interested. I mean, you might be a good musician, but you wouldn't be that interested. You don't have many stories. Other than that, I'd say, like we said, needing to be about the craft. Make sure you know, you're practicing your instrument, things like that. If you aren't good, if it's, you know, what's the point? What's the point of that? You know, you're first and foremost, you're a musician. Another one is, I think, just work smarter, not harder. You know, obviously, like we said, I'm glad like Glenn and I met, and I'm glad we did that gig 7 years ago in the Springs. And you're gonna have to do some of those and kind of just do it for the right reason. But as things were winding down, there were a lot of just like shows that were just like, why did we even do that? You know, and things when, and that also has to do with like the venue and the way things are changing and stuff like that. So I think, you know, if you want to be the type of like successful artist who's eventually, you know, playing a bunch of big shows that everybody's coming to all over the country or all over the world, start by picking them, you know, like so you making them events. If you hold out for some big events or hold out for things like that, I think it'll pay off a lot more for your recording. And like we were saying, try and build a fan base before they come to the show. When I got into music, I didn't know, I wasn't of age at the time. I'm sure there were like indie stuff going on. When I was a kid, I'd go see those bands who'd come through town because I'd heard their music already. And I wanted to, now they're coming to town, I want to go. You know, a little different if it's a local act, but still, if they like your song, whatever way, I'm like, oh, and they're playing next week? Okay, let's go. But yeah,
Sure,
I think that's more of a better way. Reverse engineer that to get people to fan of your band. Get them to like your music, then to get them to the shows, as opposed to getting them to the show to be a fan of your music.
Good point. I like it.
Thank you.
Yeah, great answers.
Thank you
Don't
very
set
much.
that straight, man. I love it. Good stuff on Sunday Spin. So
Yeah, this has
we're
been
winding
fun.
down. We got about 7 minutes left.
All right.
And yeah, Jonathan, it's been just such a pleasure having you on the show, man.
Yeah, likewise, guys. Thank you so much for thinking of me. This has been
Absolutely.
cool.
Yeah, and it's an open forum. Feel free to come back anytime.
Yeah,
you know,
I'd love to,
if
man.
you have some music coming out, we want to see you. You know,
Okay.
consider yourself part of the family.
Thank you very much, man. I feel the same about you guys, indeed. And yeah, let's definitely check in on the progress of everything, see where we're at again, what this new landscape has. It's scary there, but you know, I'm cautiously optimistic about some stuff too.
It is scary, but the one positive we have again is that fraternity.
Yeah.
And I can't stress that enough. And that's why I know we're going to be okay.
Mhm.
But thank you, Jonathan. Great. It's been great picking your brain this afternoon on
It's a
Sunday
pleasure,
Spin.
man. Thank you for
Any shout outs for you?
Yeah,
It's been Great, man. This has been, dude, like, this is, I think a therapist hour is only 45 minutes. So you guys this has been, oh, dude, like.
We do what we can. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, man.
You know, we would love sometimes is for you to go on location and just cruise around, like maybe hit Twist and Shout or hit, one of the shops in town.
I'd love to. Love to, man.
Get a feel for Denver.
Let's do that.
San Francisco, and we've done that in Colorado Springs. We've been via satellite twice. So we would love to have that experience with you sometime, man.
We need to do that because I need to get more records.
There you go.
I just got a sweet crate my buddy Dario built. He gave me yesterday. I got it. It's about almost a third of the way full. So, let's get that thing filled up pretty soon here.
Yeah. So, like, Wax Tracks or, one of the other shops in town would be great.
Yeah, definitely. Wax Tracks, Twist and Shout. Sometimes it's fun to go to the Goodwills and stuff, go through that stuff.
Oh, always.
The experience. Yeah. Swap meet.
Yeah, exactly. I think with records, one thing that's cool, I'm realizing, got to get the stuff you like, but you got to get some, like, cheesy stuff, too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's really fun.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if either of you guys ever see Terry Bradshaw's country album, which does exist, you ever see that?
Yes, I have.
I will pay you
one
back.
for you.
Oh, whoa, what do we got here?
Not Terry. No, it's not Terry, but it's my boys, which was great because I was just watching American Graffiti last night and explaining to my wife how these people were on some of these, so Laverne and Cindy Williams.
Oh, no way!
Lenny and Squiggy album. I actually
Lenny and the Squig Tones.
I bought this at Triple Play Records in Grand Junction. So shout out to them. I went there once. They were super nice. Great selection. I would love to have them on the show as well. And they're like the only record shop out there in Grand Junction. So yeah, Lenny and Squiggy album.
Must be a lot going on in Junction. Oh my God, yeah, that's Michael McKean.
David L. Lander. And you know what I mean? You got like, this dude was in Twin Peaks.
That's right.
This dude, come on.
He was a professional baseball scout, Grano.
Right?
Yeah.
What?
Yes, he was a professional baseball scout.
Oh, man.
I don't recall the team, but look it up. If I'm lying, I'm dying.
Oh, I trust you. Are you kidding me?
I know, but seriously, it's crazy but true is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, it's wonderful stuff, man.
Professional baseball scout.
I know you guys are jealous.
Absolutely,
yeah,
man.
I am.
Exactamundo. Yeah.
Listen to that sometimes.
Jonathan, let's let people know, since we're in a cyber-friendly era, how we can access the Lollygags music.
I encourage you go to all this streaming thing until we see what happens next year with the musicians. What is it? Music Modernization Act. Okay, starting to go off. This ain't the Alex Jones show. What am I talking about? But what happens until that happens? This streaming shit. If you want to listen to anything, I encourage you to go to bands' Bandcamps because they actually get money off those. And you can, it goes to them directly. I know it doesn't give them some, algorithm that raises them, but yeah, that's how you can best do that. So I encourage you to go to our Bandcamp on Lollygags Bandcamp. But hey, we're also on YouTube and Spotify, all that stuff. So whatever you got, like I said, all hands on deck. Glenn, you have one of the only Lollygags CDs. Hold on to that, man. So not printing any new, never did any vinyl. There it is, woohoo! Oh man, sweet. That's it. That was a fun era of the band.
We're gonna play a song from this in just a minute.
Yeah, let's go out on one of those.
Oh, baby.
That Bandcamp page will be up for a while, and all hands on deck. Whatever it takes for you to listen to music.
Did you guys just put out a single too this year? Like old
beginning
new,
of the yes,
borrowed?
old new borrowed. You can hear that on all the streaming services and everything. Got an older song that released a demo of early on in the days of Lollygags. Brand new song called Grand Consolation, which we have a lyric video for too. That's really fun. And then a borrowed song, cover tune, Affection by Jonathan Richman.
Great tune.
Wow.
Always a source of inspiration.
That is quite the avant-garde cover to pick.
It's a
What
good
inspired
one.
you?
Oh, that song, I just love John. People have always told me, I reminded him of them. And I've always loved his stuff. That song is so great because, of course, some of this stuff, it's a little silly and everything, but it's so heartfelt, too. And I think now it just really stood out to me before COVID and everything. Just like the whole message of just like reaching out for affection that we're all dying for. You know, so many of us have replaced that very basic human necessity with giving somebody a like or something. And it's not
Truly.
we even kind of changed. There's one lyric in the song we even kind of update to modernize a little bit to explain that. But yeah, that was one. I've always loved that song, and I was kind of first time I heard it, I was like, oh man, that'd be kind of cool to do it like this. So yeah, I have to hear it's a bit shoegazy.
Awesome. Very good. Well, looks like we've reached the end of the rainbow for now.
Yes, definitely.
You've been tuning
There's a
into
pot of
Sunday.
gold.
What's that?
I said there's a pot of gold.
You know it, sir. Been tuning into the Sunday Spin. I'm Greno G. My man Vinny G in the house. To the left.
Buy some records. Check out the Lollygags.
Thanks, Buck. Thanks, guys.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the one, the only, the illustrious Jonathan Snyder.
Present.
My best friend. Your best friend. Denver's
Thanks
best
again,
friend.
fellas. Everyone's. That's right.
Exactly.
They like
And,
it or not.
hey, Jonathan, do you remember, just really quickly, I want to digress. Do you remember we did an interview outside of, what club was that? Remember
It
before
was the Skylark. The Skylark, yes. Skylark Lounge.
That was fun.
That was
Is
a good
that
night.
venue still around?
Yes. So the owner is selling it, but he's been planning on selling it before the COVID thing.
Okay.
And they haven't. From the sound of things, they're trying to sell like it's going to stay a bar. I don't know if it's going to stay the Skylark or going to be the same spirit and everything, but it's still there. I obviously probably aren't doing shows, but no, I think that thing's still there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right. Well, let's gonna end the show right now. Before we do, let's talk about our sponsors, Vinny.
Sure, I'd be happy to. Once again, thank you very much. Show us the shirt, Greno. What's Left Record, 719? Absolutely. As for your Ostro swag, they've got it in stock. Tell them Sunday Spin sent you. Our man Kevin Chanel in San Francisco, Grooves Records, right? Market Street downtown. Love the guys. Check out the Lemon Limes. And the two biggest names in the indie business right now in the 719, we've got Anonymous Collective with my man Greno, Anonymous Pacific Records, yours truly, the Anonymous family. Thanks again, Jonathan Snyder.
Thank you, guys.
Freedom to Rock is granted, guys.
All right.
Absolutely. Let's end tonight with a tune called "What's a Happening."
That's right.
Rock and roll from the Lollygags. Check them out on Bandcamp, baby, and all your social media platforms. We'll see you next time on Sunday Spin with the man Chris Marsteller. Let's see if he grew more hair. All right, love you guys. We'll see you next time.
See you guys. The NFC East, still a weak division, but a very entertaining game there. Prescott the best. Okay, John, thanks very much. We're using a quick break here with the News 8 postgame show. When we come back, we get our studs.